Hello class. So today we're going to be going through the SPSS data entry that we covered on week 5. So here is the paper that you guys are going to have to download. It's in your Canvas under your modules for week 5. So just go to your module section here, scroll down, and it's going to be right here. SPSS data entry how-to.docx. Make sure that when you open this, you download and open it in your Word file. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to copy and paste the data into SPSS later on. Alright, so we'll start off with opening SPSS. If you're at your home computer, the easiest thing is just to go to vlab.unf.edu here. So let's just click there. It's going to open up this option. We log in. So it opens up the Citrix receiver. I have pop-ups blocked. So you're going to see SPSS open up. It may ask you to download Citrix, or you can use the light version of SPSS. Either way should give you the same functionality for the purposes of this. So just open SPSS up. It's going to open it up in a window. This would be the light version. The SPSS you would open up in the full version of your Citrix. It'll get a little thing like this and you log in. You open up the full version and download it. Will give you a window. So we're just going to do it for this class. So we're going to start first with our variable names. So as you see right here, we're going to input variable names in first. So you see the full name participant number. So this is for our first column of data. So if you go into here and you type in participant number, SPSS is going to give you an error reading saying it's an illegal character. You're not allowed to have spaces in SPSS. So if you do use this, use underscores. So it'd be participant number. So it'll let you do that. But if you go to the data view, now you have this funky looking piece of data here. So now it's called participant _number. So let's just get rid of that altogether. And you just put in ID number, just for yourself to remember later on. So we're going to do that for all of these. We have sex column, 1 man, 2 woman. So you just go down here, put sex here. Age in years, we'll just put age. Let's make sure your spelling's correct. Rock and roll albums owned, let's put rock. Marital status, just put stat. Hours per week listening to music, just put hours here. Number of jazz albums owned, just put jazz. And for how the person tends to listen to music, you can do a musical preference. And then the number of concerts attended in their lifetime will just be concerts. So now you have all your data abbreviated here. You can go to your data section, and now you have these really nice small columns here you can work with. It's a lot cleaner looking. It's a little more uniform. So now you want to make sure that you remember what these are. So you just go into your label right here, and it's very similar to typing in the name. You just click on the window and start typing. So for our label here, this is our participant number. So you could either copy and paste over. My computer didn't like me moving that fast. See if I can paste now. No, so we're just going to have to type it in. So participant number. Our second window here says sex. Age in years. You can make this look as pretty as you want with proper capitalization. You probably want to do that just to make sure that when the output comes out, it's already taken care of for you. Number of rock and roll albums owned for this one, rock. This one's going to be our marital status. This will be hours spent listening to music. Let's see what the other ones are. A number of jazz albums owned. And for number 8, how a person tends to listen to music. All right, and then our last one is going to be the number of concerts they've attended in their lifetime. So number of concerts they've attended in their lifetime. If I'm moving too fast here, remember this is all in your Word document. But if you want to pause right now and just take a look at these names, you can do that too. But I do suggest you follow along with this. So now you're going to recognize that we have some values here. So for sex, 1 equals male, 2 equals female. It's spelled out right here. 1 equals man, 2 equals woman. We're just going to switch that to male and female just because it's a better term. So what you do is just click just somewhere around here. And this little 3 dot is going to come up. It's a little ellipses. You're just going to want to click on that and just put 1 man and 2 woman. So the reason why we use 1 and 2 is because that is spelled out for us in our data. So 1 equals man, 2 equals woman. So that corresponds with here. It's up to you when you get your own data or you develop your own data set if you want to use 0 or 1. But if it tells you what it is, use that number. It could be 0, 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, 9. But just make sure that you know what the data is saying because this number is going to change depending on who gave you your data set. So now that you put these in, your value 1 and your label is man or woman. So now you have that in your value. So now you've told SPSS what those numbers actually mean. So when you put the data in, it'll show up as that instead of numbers. This would be for our categorical data. So now you have marital status. 1, single, 2, married. So same thing. Click the ellipses. 1, married. 2, single. Let's make sure I got that right. Nope, other way around. So it's 1, single, 2, married. That's why it's always important to check your data to avoid this kind of errors. So now you have how the person tends to listen to music. This is also a categorical variable. So we have 1 is for online. So let's get out of here and go back to our how the person tends to listen to music. So 1 is online and free. So let's do free online. Sounds a little nicer. Free online. Our number 2 is going to be listen to an electronic device. So 2 is electronic purchased. You press enter or add, either one will work. And number 3 is going to be CDs or albums. CDs or albums. Alright, so now you have your data spelled out completely here. All your categorical variables are defined for SPSS and for you later on. So now after you've gone through here, you've put all your labels in. You can follow along with this sheet, but I'm going to give you really what I'm doing is following along. So now that you've done all of that, you can now put in missing values. So say when you developed your data set or you developed your survey that gives you the data, you decided to put -8 as a missing value or n -9 as a missing value. So if any data within your data set, within your numbers up here, if any of these are -8 or -9, that means the individual didn't answer it. So you want SPSS to make sure that they remove that option because when they get the mean for this piece of data right here, they're going to be including those missing values. And that wouldn't be an accurate mean. That's going to give you a different number than what your actual mean is. So you want to tell SPSS that, hey, these values are missing, don't account for them with my mean. So your mean will be an accurate representation of the sample of your population that actually answered the question. So for missing values, to put those out, so we're using sex here, 1 and 2, right? So now for missing values, we decided we can do -8 and -9. We told the computer, or we told our survey that when we wanted the data output, that -8, -9 were supposed to be for missing values, okay? So this could be any number you're choosing. This is just an example of 2 numbers you can use. More often than not, you can use the 0 or a range from 1 to 4 or something. It depends on how you set up your data. But for this example, -8 and -9 are going to work. So you press OK. So now we told the system that -8 and -9 are missing. So now we can actually go to our data. Your output should look something like this when you're done, but I'm going to make it look a little cleaner. When you have data that doesn't have decimals, I always suggest just removing them. Just pressing the down key to make them all 0, or you can delete, go in and delete it if you want to do it the long way. But the easiest thing is just to click over in the corner or click on the cell and just remove all those those decimal points, because you don't have any decimal points in your data set here. Makes it look a little cleaner for those of you that are a little bit OCD with cleanliness. Alright, so now we're going to go up to our data set. So the best way to put in data in SPSS is to export it. So if you ran a survey through SurveyMonkey or Qualtrics is what UNF uses, they'll give you data set and you can have it exported directly to SPSS or Excel, but you want to avoid putting in your own data because you lend yourself to errors. So the best way in this scenario, it saves time and it's a much better method of doing it, is just to copy this. So just when you have the Word document open, you cannot copy this if you're on this page over here. If you're on your Canvas page, it's not going to let you copy the data into SPSS, because right now it's reading it as a view document rather than a Word document. So have your Word document open. You can click copy or Control C if you know the commands. Then you can go back to your SPSS here, click on this first cell, and just click off of this first cell actually. Let's see if it'll let me do it. I had a problem doing this earlier with pasting into Excel. So it looks like, let's see if the commands actually work. It doesn't look like my commands are working for the window version of this. So unfortunately I'm going to have to put in every one of these data sets individually. So 1 through 12 is my first one. So I'm going to pause the video now. I'm going to go through and put all this data in, and then I'll continue it after I'm done with the data to make it a little bit easier for everybody. Alright, so we're back. I put in a lot of fake data just to save myself some time. But if you did paste this in, if you did open up the window, if you're doing it from the computer at UNF, you just check the top row if you pasted it in. So our top row is 1, 1, 32, 23, 1, 1, 32, 23, 1, 35, 5, 1, 10, 1, 35, 5, 1, 10. So our top row is correct. We can assume that our data is fine now. Like I said, these numbers are probably not going to match up to yours. The only row I did was the top row. So don't worry about that. So now that your data is in your SPSS now, you can start playing with it. So if you're going to start analysis, this would be the time to do it. So you want to make sure, I'm going to show you why some of these labels were appropriate. So you want to make sure they're actually working. So you go to Analyze up here. This is where all your data is going to be, kind of somewhere around here. So you want to go to Descriptive Statistics. Just go to Frequencies. So let's make sure that our labels are working for our variables, as well as they're defining what the 1 and 2s actually mean in our outputs. Let's do number rock and roll album zone. As you can see, even right here, it's giving you the full name of the variable, your label, and then your abbreviation that you're using right here. So it's very convenient. So just put this in. So now we have a table. So that gives us the label, like this, it's the label. But now it's telling you man or woman instead of 1s and 2s. So it's giving man and woman the actual labels that you put in. So when you define what these variables were, it gave that to you. So now if you go back to your data, and let's just remove these, and you'll see what happens when you do that. So now go back to, you can do this window, or you can do straight Analyze, just straight again. Let's see if SPSS will let me do it. Doesn't look like it's going to. Back to our frequencies. So now you have number rock and roll album zone and sex again. To get back to it, just go to here and frequencies again, and it'll bring the same window up. So now let's run it again. So now it's back to 1 and 2 format. So right up here is man and woman when we had the labels, and now it's no longer that because we removed them. So you want to make sure you label your data. A few reasons for this is because you would sometimes remember or forget yourself what that data actually means, especially if you're using more than 2 data points. As well as if you give someone data, or give them your data set, it'd be helpful for them to know what these values are. So just again, 1 man, just add 2 woman. Here you go. So with something like this, it's really important to know what those are. So again, just run your frequencies. You can just go to how a person tends to listen to music. And we can see how they define the three variables for us. Free online, electronic purchase, CDs, or albums. So turn the 1s, 2s, and 3s into their label names. Very, very simple. This is the beginning of your guys' work with SPSS. So when you're done with that, frequently save if you're using the Citrix server like this, especially since it likes to shut down on you. So you just go to File, Save, and it'll save it into your UNF documents folder. But if you want to go see this DA file one, or this is my N number here, but if you want to save it onto your computer, you just go back up to this PC, it'll show it up, and you can put it in your documents folder from here, and then it'll put it on your actual computer instead of through your N00 N number account. And then just save it as an SPF file, a viewer file, or an SAV file. But you don't have to save this at all, but just be used to saving it when you do get your actual data. So that's it for data analysis or data input. I'll have more of these coming up for when you do a little more difficult work, but this is very important to know how to put your data in. So with that said, have a good rest of your day.